Hi, so it's been about a week since my last video, so I thought I'd go ahead and do another book talk really quickly. I just finished this series, and it's by Maya Banks, and it is the Breathless Trilogy. Oh, that's not the first book. That's the first book. And it is the Breathless Trilogy, and I'm going to be completely upfront with you about this. This is very smutty. These books are straight smut. There's a romance aspect to them, just like with all kind of smut books, but this is legit mom porn. So if you're looking for a read similar to this one, pick these up, because this is done much better. Because although I do love my Christian Grey and I love my 50 Shades, this is so poorly written, I can't get over it. And I'm from Western Washington, so it was almost like pulling teeth when I was reading this over how inaccurate it is to living in Seattle. So I had a hard time with this, but I do love these books and I read them a lot. As you can tell, that's kind of dying a little bit. The cover's all punched up. So I picked up these books. I picked them up by unknowing that they were going to be BDSM, but they're BDSM novels, and they kind of take you into it slowly. Whereas 50 Shades never really approached the BDSM relationship. It was basically just her turning him into a normal person, kind of. These books actually follow a BDSM relationship and what it's like. And so this is in the order that the books are in, basically goes into the intensity of these relationships. So Rush is like baby steps. It reminds me of 50 Shades. I actually had a hard time getting into this one because it was so similar to 50 Shades. I couldn't get over it. And then the second book is kind of like the intermediate level, like after getting into the more depth, explaining what collaring is and all of that. And then the third book is legit. It is a dominant, submissive relationship in every aspect of the, oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. So that's that. So if you're looking for a good mom porn series, I would definitely recommend this. I do read these kinds of books frequently in between more of the YA reads, because I do need to read something a little less fluffy every once in a while. So these are definitely not fluff at all. This is like reading fan fiction. Books like this, that's what it reminds me of when you go into the fan fiction world and you see there's the fluff and then there's the smut, and this is all of that, and she gets into it quickly. There's no buffer within the first chapter or two of each, except for the third one. The first two books, the first couple chapters, gets right into it. So I want to talk about this series as a whole, and then I'll go into each of the books. So the three books cover a different person, and there's dual narration in all of these books. So although they have different main characters, there is dual narration for the protagonists in each of the books. So the first book follows Gabe Hamilton. It follows Jace Cresswell in the second, and then Ash McIntyre in the third book. And they are best friends and hotel tycoons. They own a very successful chain of luxury hotels, and they are multi-billionaires, all of them. So it makes for an interesting read, and these stories are very Pretty Woman-esque, except for the first one, because in the first book it follows Gabe Hamilton and Mia Crestwell, and Mia Crestwell is the younger sister of Jace Crestwell, his best friend and business partner. So they go into this relationship not wanting Jace to find out, because they don't want him to basically jeopardize his working relationship. So when he meets her, she's 24 and he's 38, and she's a post-grad. She's overwhelmingly underemployed. She works part-time in a bakery and owns an apartment in Manhattan. I can't even tell you how wrong that is. But there's that. She works part-time at a bakery and owns an apartment in Manhattan, obviously because her brother bought her the apartment, but she tries to support herself by working part-time at a bakery in Manhattan. Okay. So there's that unrealistic aspect of this. But when he meets her, he makes her sign a non-disclosure agreement for the relationship because he has an ex-wife that basically tarnished his reputation in the public eye. And so that is where this is, and it goes into their relationship. Some crazy things happen to Mia in this book, and so it all comes to head at the end. So each relationship has its resolution by the end of each book. So that's what this one is about. The second book follows Jace Cresswell. He is Mia's older brother, and he meets this woman, Bethany Willis. She is the cater waiter at Mia and Gabe's engagement party, and he sees her, and Ash, his best friend, decides that he's going to proposition her. And so the first portion of this book is heavily threesome-esque. Like, there's a big threesome in this beginning of this book. So be prepared for that. I was not, but be prepared for that. So he decides he doesn't want to share her with Ash, but she leaves in the morning and he can't find her because she's homeless. And so this book follows him trying to find her and propositioning her into a relationship with him, but she doesn't know if she deserves it because they come from different worlds, because she's homeless and he's a billionaire. So the third book follows Ash McIntyre, and this is the only book that is truly a dom and sub relationship. He collars her right away. It is a big deal, and it goes into quite a bit of what it's really like. She was actually submissive before she met him, so that's why this relationship is a little bit more believable. So he meets Josie, and she is an artist and a free spirit, and he falls in love with her immediately and becomes obsessed with her, and makes her move in with him right away, and has to deal with her ex-dom, who now is trying to get her back. And so that's what this book is about. So all of these books can be read as standalone novels. You do not have to read them as a series, because each book does follow a different person in a different relationship. But I mean, they are pretty cohesive, but you don't need to read them all in order, and you really just don't need to read them all if you just want to read one or two. The second book was my favorite. I liked Jace. I didn't like the other two male protagonists as well as Jace, because whereas they are very possessive and obsessive and consider their women property, he is more protective in a way that is more of an older brother sense. And there is quite a big age gap with all of these relationships. The men are all 38 and almost 39, and all the women are in their early 20s. So there is quite a big age gap, which there is a lot in dominant and submissive relationships. There's a lot of daddy issues there. So just be forewarned with that. And some of the books, especially the third book, it deals with abuse, and a lot of these relations are borderline abusive. So I would be aware of that going into these books as well. But they are pretty true to what dom and sub relationships are like. So if you like that kind of genre, the BDSM books, I would definitely go ahead and recommend this. And if you want to read an author that's really good writing about mom porn, Maya Banks is the way to go. She has about 50 books that are out and published right now, and she does have some more historical romances. So I would go ahead and recommend those as well. So if you want some mom porn, pick up these books. It's the Breathless Trilogy, again, by Maya Banks, and I would definitely recommend them if you're looking for a smutty read. I would recommend these to pregnant women. Read them. You will love them. Get those hormones in check.